Companies that are bidding on government contracts often need to understand if they have to provide certified cost and pricing data in order to be compliant. Hi, I'm Minney, Chief Product Officer for 25. There's really 3 points that affect the compliance position of your proposal. The first is the threshold. If you're above or below either the Simple Acquisition Threshold or the Truth in Negotiations Act, which recently went up from $750,000 to $2 million. If you're above that threshold, then you need to provide certified cost and pricing data. So that means you have a much stricter compliance requirement. Now, obviously, you're not going to bid below 2 million when the actual cost is higher, but you need to be aware of that threshold. Secondly is how you're going to the market and how you're bidding for the work. If you're being sole sourced, you're the only bidder for a piece of work, you can expect to be on the hook to provide much more cost and price information and to certify the cost and pricing data that you're providing, essentially to prove to the government and therefore the taxpayer that the money you're charging for a sole source bid is reasonable and fair. On the other hand, if you're in a competitive situation with a lot of bidders competing perhaps on price, or you're providing commercial pricing, so pricing that's public, then you're not going to be asked to provide cost and pricing data. So what happens if you need to be compliant? How do you do this? There's cost analysis and price analysis. Price analysis is a much simpler analysis of how much this thing costs in the market, and the cost analysis is a more in-depth breakdown of what it actually costs. The key thing to doing this is to dig into your business history, your business transaction system. Some people call it your enterprise resource planning system, and dig out actual data, real data that you can point to. Whether it's previous purchasing, manufacturing, whether it's engineering, labor, data that you've got in your system which proves what you actually took, what it cost you to do this previously, what you spent with vendors previously. The key is there's a full traceability. So the traceability from the cost or the price that you're providing to the government customer, all the way back to what you're spending. And that applies to subcontractors as well. Just because you're over the TINA threshold and you have to provide cost and pricing data, you might have a subcontractor where you're spending more than $2 million who's also over the TINA threshold. So now they need to provide cost and pricing data. Or if you're a subcontractor to a prime, you're bidding to a commercial company, but they're priming to a government contract, you might be on the hook to provide cost and pricing data if your bid is over $2 million. So that really summarizes when you need to provide certified cost and pricing data to be in compliance and what's the best way to do it.